Right, good morning, welcome back. HayaBusa, day 7. Now, while I wait for the upholstery materials to be delivered, I can get on with something else. So in this case, it will be rear suspension. So as the bike's currently on the paddock stand, I want to retain this ride height that it's got right up here, and at the same time, expand the gap here between the tyre and the under tray. So the tail end physically looks like it's jacked up higher. Right, I'm not going to teach you how to suck eggs. We all know, don't we, that if you've got monoshock suspension, you normally have link plates or dog bones, pretty much most bikes do, and you just put shorter or longer ones on depending on what you want. If you want this bike, as I do, jacked up slightly, then looking at the fixed point between the swinging arm and the short link assembly, I just put shorter ones in, just slightly shorter to allow that swing arm to drop down lower in its fixed position, and that will jack the back up. Job done. Now, normally, what you might do is just take them off, drop that wheel down onto the lift, measure the distance between those two fixed points, and that's the distance or the length of my link plates, and just make a couple, bolt them on, job done. But I can't do that because if I just went ahead and did that anyway, like many bikes, if you jack them up too much, it can throw up quite a serious problem. When you drop the swing arm down, you will also drop the top line of the chain with it, and your chain will come into contact with the plastic guide underneath it. If I press down on the bottom of the chain now, tighten it up, a little screwdriver, and run it underneath the chain there. I've got about a 6mm gap at the moment between the plastic guide and the chain. And as I drop the back of that down to jack up my bike, that gap's going to close up. So that's what I've got to be guided by. Make sure that that gap doesn't completely close, putting the chain in permanent contact with the guide, because it will rip through it in no time. And that's quite serious. Now, if you followed the Triumph Legend project a long time ago, you might remember I made these little link plates. They're out of 3mm steel. They're a hole one end and a slot the other. So I can put these on. I can set it to the height I want it. I can measure my critical gap the other side, bounce up and down on it, make sure they're all correct. And then wherever they are, when they're nipped up, that's the exact data. That's the length I need to make the real ones from. Right, I know you know this, but it's worth mentioning anyway. While you've got the dog bones off, it's a good opportunity to check the needle roller bearings themselves, because you can get to them. So push the little tube out of the way and have a little grope round inside. Make sure that all the needle rollers are nice and smooth like a mirror. There's no roughness to them, because if there is, that's rust and they need replacing. And make sure when you pull your finger out that the grease is clean, because if it's brown and sludgy, then that's rust and it needs replacing. But mine are absolutely spotless. And the bottom one, because when I put this short link together and I built the bike in the first place, I put all new bearings in it and they're absolutely spotless. So I'm going to put a bit of fresh grease in anyway, obviously, and then I can put my slip plates on and start setting my height. 100mm. Right, there we are. Absolute success, mission accomplished and all that. I don't know how much I've jacked it up by, because I think saying numbers is kind of nonsense really, because wherever you measure it, it's going to be different. What you've done an inch here, as it goes away from itself, will maybe be 3.5 inches at the tip of the tail. So depending on where you measure it, it makes no sense. So saying a number there is nonsense, but the visual appearance of the tail being higher is what I wanted and what I've achieved. If I put a hand in there now, look at the size of that gap. It's huge. Maybe I could have measured that, I don't know, but that's not going to affect where the seat is. So again, numbers are not relevant, but what is I've achieved the look I wanted, and a really nice, safe, sound job. Happy with that, and most importantly than anything else, that chain run on the other side is dead flat along the top of the chain. It's not bearing on that plastic runner, so there's not going to be any damage done there either. Really happy. Thanks for watching. Take it easy, ride safe. See you next time.